Hello, everybody. My name is Craig Bettles. I'm the co-pilot project manager here at Consonis. I'm just going to do a short instructional video today on how to use one of our new reports, the PDPM Analyzer. So it's going to be here in your PDPM reporting section. For right now, I'm just going to use our test account here and show it some examples using scrambled patient data. You can see on the drop down here, it'll appear as the PDPM Analyzer. Click on that and it'll open up the report. Now, first thing to know about this report is it's really designed for that period between days 7 through 14, where you've selected an ARD date, and now you're beginning to fill out the MDS assessment, and you want to be able to review that MDS assessment that's in progress before you submit it to CMS and you're locked into a PDPM rate. So what this report's going to do is it's going to pull any patients that are Medicare A and that have admitted in the last 14 days, although you can change that here if you want to. If you have access to multiple facilities, you can also select that here. Now, by default, it's going to be just 5-day MDS assessments that are in progress. But you can change that here with this drop-down, and you can change from a 5-day to an IPA here on this drop-down. Quick note, this data set does not include transitional IPAs. So you'll just be looking at traditional IPAs if you select that option. Now the patients will appear here. You can see what the admission date is, and you can see the daily rate and revenue to date. Now that's based on the in-progress MDS assessment. One thing with the daily rate and the revenue there, that does include any adjustments due to the length of stay, so that does include that ×3 NTA adjustment. Now down here below, you can actually see what the rate's going to be unadjusted, so not including that NTA adjustment, and also not including the PTOT reduction after day 20. You can see what that daily rate's going to be for each of the components as it's coded on the MDS, so that's going to be using that field I0020B from the MDS assessment. Now I can use this to select any particular patient. It's going to grab one at random. I can see what the primary diagnosis is, and I can see what the different rates are. Now, if I go to the patient details section, I can look into more detail. So for this particular patient, I can see the daily rates for each of the different days of my length of stay. I can see the nursing rate, the NT rate, and these are all the unadjusted rates here. I can see how that rate breaks down for each of my components. And then down below, I'm actually going to pull from the MDS assessment any ICD-10s that are listed. So I can actually see for this particular patient, there are 2 ICD-10 codes, one listed on I0020B, one listed on I8000. Now, if these are clinically appropriate to skill the patient in the building, you can look and you can see if there's a difference in the daily rate, and you might want to update the MDS assessment. Again, we're just providing the information here. We rely on you to actually go to your clinical teams and make sure that whatever MDS, whatever ICD-10 code you choose is appropriate for skilling the patient in the building. But we do provide that data here for you. Next, I can go to my nursing review, and you can see it's pulling from the MDS assessment all of the conditions and services that kind of go into the various nursing components, so I can make sure I'm not missing anything. So I'd want to make sure during the 7 to 14-day period, I'm actually going through the documentation, particularly the discharge summary, making sure nothing's been missed, and then updating that MDS assessment. Again, you can kind of come up here and you can also see that nursing function score. You can see what the nursing rate is and the nursing case mix. Again, I can do the same thing with my therapy review. I can look at my SLP rate, my PT rate, my OT rate. I can see what the case mix is, and then I can see all the key details that go into those various case mixes just to make sure I'm getting the data correct. So for PTOT, the key items are the PTOT clinical category and the function score. For SLP, we're also looking at those comorbidities for SLP, so I can see if the patient has any of those here. Again, if I saw something that was missing, I could go and update the MDS assessment before it's submitted to CMS and making sure I'm capturing everything that the patient was treated for in the building. Same with mechanically altered diet swelling disorder. Lastly, we have the NTA review. We would capture any NTA points here. We would look at the NTA rate. And again, here are all the NTA comorbidity items. And you can look and you can see if anything was missed. So this is a good opportunity to look at any of the consultant pharmacist recommendations you have, anything that's come through on the discharge summary, anything that's indicated from labs or particular medications that's been prescribed to the patient. And make sure you're capturing everything that's relevant to the treatment of the patient in the building. Now, let's say I did catch a few of these items. I would go and update the MDS assessment in my EHR. Then if I come back to the front page here, it has some details down in this note section about when the data refreshes. And this is all based on Pacific time. So let's say I came into my MDS document at about 8 a.m. Pacific time. I made some changes that would give me some extra points on my NTA comorbidities. I'd wait until my 9:15 refresh. It would take about 45 minutes. And around 10 a.m. Pacific time, I would be able to come back into this report and see what the rate would be with my adjustments. So that gives you an opportunity to make sure that all the data is correct before you submit to CMS. And again, if you wanted to change this and actually look at a completed patient, you've got all the status assessments here. Or if you wanted to do this for an IPA, you could switch it to an IPA. So once again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at copilot@consultancehealth.com. We'd be happy to answer any questions or set up any training webinars for you. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.